What's going on, peaceful people? Let's go ahead and jump into this video and the message. You probably heard the saying, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Have y'all heard of that? When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. But I've learned that sometimes when the teacher is ready, Spirit will send the student. And sometimes Spirit will start preparing you to teach those before you even realize you're in training. Hello riders, hello, how are you? And welcome to my channel. This is Lady Vasori, and let's get ready for the ride. Now don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. I want to go into a little bit about me. I talk about me, but I don't really talk about me, you know. I'm from Southern roots, y'all. North Carolina, born and raised. Both the Carolinas. My father is from South Carolina, and my mother was born and raised in North Carolina. I grew up close to my grandparents, aunts, and uncles in a small community in the sticks. I was maybe 8, maybe 10 years old. And I'm going to give you a story on how I started to know that I can see the sight. I can heal the people. My voice carried weight. Okay, I'm going to give y'all a quick story. I was maybe about 8, maybe 10 years old. And I remember being sick as a dog. Sick as a dog, y'all. We were living in my grandparents' old house, and it was at the end of a dirt road. Now, y'all, I want to tell you, the road was called Green Acres Road, believe it or not. Yes, like the TV show. And that's why I'm telling y'all, very countrified girl. Hog killing time, wash pot skins type energy. That's me. Corn in the woods, making it. Y'all, I was maybe about 8 or 10 when I first seen my first apparition. That was my great grandma. That day or night, I was really sick. I was on the couch. I remember being in the living room. I remember we had an orange couch. It was like velvet, suede. You know, my mama was just 2 rooms away, but I remember I couldn't make it to her. I couldn't even scream. I was so sick. I had no voice. My body felt too heavy to move, so I just laid there on the couch. And that's when it happened. Y'all, I want y'all to know my eyes were open. Wasn't sleep. This was not a dream. I looked towards the doorway and saw my great grandma, which is my grandmother's mom. She passed away on Christmas Day in 1977. You hear me? I'm sorry. Christmas Day 1976. I was born October of 77. So she knew my mom was pregnant. I think my mama had just got pregnant or whatever. But I saw her, not in the flesh. This was an apparition. She was pure white light, a light that you can just look at. She was wearing a dress. She had no feet. She was hovering, but her dress was flowing like a fan was blowing on her. I didn't see her face. A shawl was draped over her head, so I couldn't see her face. She had no face, but my spirit knew it was her. I seen her pictures in my grandma's house. I knew exactly who she was. She never moved her mouth though. Not one time. but I heard her like she was speaking straight into my mind. And what she said was, she was like, "Get up, baby. You have work to do." Now, I'm thinking, now that I know I wasn't scared, now that I know and I'm older, I had a feeling she knew that I was probably not going to make it. I was going to probably, I don't know, my temperature is very high. I don't know that part. But again, she never moved her mouth. It was like telepathy, where she spoke through, not with her mouth, but straight to my mind. Sounds crazy, but it's true. She was like, "Get up, baby. You have work to do." She said, "Go in the other room. Go in the back room now." She made me get up. It wasn't just words. I felt her pulling me up. I had the strength to get up on that night. My body was weak, but something in my spirit moved me off that chair. She disappeared like real soft, like a little wind, like that, you know. The doorway went back to dark, but I couldn't ignore it. I had to get up. I had to move. Now, the back room she told me to go to was past my mama's bedroom, attached to it. I walked right by my mama as she was asleep. And if I were to think about it, it may have been, it was wee hours of the morning. I know that. I opened that small room door. And this was an add-on bonus room that my granddaddy built on to that house for my grandmother. It didn't have no heat. It was hot in the summer in that room, and it was cold in the winter. When I opened that door and went into that room, the cold hit me instantly. Now I'm going to tell y'all, it was already winter, but this was a different kind of cold. This was a cold where, y'all know, if you got a fever and you go to the hospital and they put you in an ice bath, it was that type of cold. And I don't know if it was her energy or just the fact that the room was an add-on with no heat, but it was ice cold. The cold that chills you deep in your bones. I remember laying in there. I remember when I shut the door and I could feel my fever breaking. The freezing air was like pulling that fever right out of me. I don't remember falling asleep. I don't remember coming out. I don't remember how long I was in there. All I know is when I did, I felt a little better. Now that day taught me something. It taught me that I can hear and see spirit with the natural eye. Not with my ears. Spirit talks straight to my spirit. And when spirit says, "Get up and move. You have work to do," you never question it. You move. That was one of my first signs that I was called to lead, that I could hear. Because you can't lead anybody or anything if you can't first follow and hear spirit. Another sign came in church. Okay, I sang both in the adolescents choir and the adult choir, and for some reason they always chose me to sing lead, and I was terrified, y'all. Terrified. I knew I could carry a tune, but I was like, I want to be in the background, but I will over sing. You will always hear me, even if I was carrying somebody who was leading. You would hear my voice, because my voice is not soft at all. I'm alto, mezzo soprano. I can do it all. So that's when I first realized I had the gift of voice, not just to sing, but to pull people through music and ministry. I be singing, y'all, and the whole church would go quiet. I look out and see the people standing, praising, and I thought to myself, my voice carries weight. Wow. So one night, they gave me the opportunity to open service with a verse from the pulpit. Okay? Not a full sermon, no, but y'all know how just the opening scripture. But again, it was quiet. They were focused on my words. You could hear a pin drop. People were standing on my words. And I realized it's not just in song. Again, my voice in the spiritual world carried weight. But here's the truth. I was never moved by the churchy side of it. Never. We had a fabulous preacher, but his words never touched my soul. That's just what it is. No sermon ever made me shout and cry, probably a couple of times in my life. I always wrote down the verses so I could go home and read them myself. Even at choir practice on Wednesdays, I had questions for the reverend, like biblical questions. Choir practice I would ask, Bible study I would ask. He'd say, let me write it down. I'll research it and bring it back next week. But next week would come and the answer never got to me. So I learned how to start doing that for myself. So I learned early I had to go to the book myself, read it, break it down for yourself, find yourself approved. And when I did, the word moved through me in a way that I could then present to others so they could receive it. You know, not a Christian way, not a churchy way, but the hoodoo way. There's a calling to it. Going to the source, getting it in your bones and delivering it with weight. I promise y'all, a lot of people do not use Biblemancy in their root work. But you should, but that's neither here or there. I do. Spirit will send you students when they're ready to become and when they're ready to take the lesson. I've learned that, Lord, I've learned that. Most of the people who attach to me are women. Older women, middle-aged women. Every now and then some of their 20-somethings will try it. But I do notice if you're not spiritually aware, spiritually growing, or spiritually mature, you usually fall away from me. They'll trail off. They wasn't ready. And that's fine. My flow is all about healing, not chasing energy. Because usually the women who stay is because something in me stirs their soul, right? Most people understand that. And honestly, y'all, sometimes I don't understand them myself. For real. I've always tried to walk in a white light. Even coming up as a young child, I've always stayed in good moral standing. I'm not perfect by far, but I was always genuine. And I carried a free-flowing energy all the time. And that draws people who are ready to balance their life and are ready to heal. Now, is that because I'm a Libra? Maybe so. Is that because I'm gifted? Absolutely, I believe so. The growth is slow, y'all, but it's steady. And I know my students come when they're ready to get out of bondage within themselves. Because that's the real work. It's never about anybody else. It's always about you. Why? Because hoodoo is a mirror. When people come to me, I always hold up the mirror. If you lay your heartbreak or your pain at my feet, I can pull cards, yes. But I can also divinate in my mind the steps you need to take. It's like my third eye sees the matrix of your situation. I can process it in seconds. I can see multiple paths that you were going down. But also what I've learned, y'all, my family doesn't respect it. My family are the ones that don't respect my gift. They don't take my gift seriously. And that's okay. It's usually the ones closest to you who can't see you. But that's why I don't blur the lines between, again, friendship and spirituality. If you ever met me as Lady V, if I've ever done work for you, we gonna always keep it in that lane. I will never be able to teach anyone who doesn't want me to lead. And I can only lead you if you allow me to teach. That's why I know this is my calling. And that's why I bring it forth to the ones who are ready. Y'all, I've also learned that some people are only in your life for a season. They'll leave when they have exhausted the teaching they came for. That's not betrayal, it's always the cycle. Okay? Then there are others, the ones who stay. The ones who are the lifelong students, the lifelong teachers. I have women in my life right now that I consider forever teachers. They've been through some things, and I just look at them like, you are me. I am you. You are my shade. You are what I am embodying. The lesson keeps deepening. The connection will always grow. So yes, baby, the saying is true. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. But there's the part they leave out. It is a part they leave out. Sometimes the teacher appears before you even know you're a student, just so you can start getting ready. A lot of y'all tell me, I watched you for a minute because you were getting ready. You were getting ready, okay? You were getting ready. That is your training ground. And it's an unexplainable moment. How many people have told me that before they reach out to me? They have watched me for a minute, and all of a sudden they come, they learn, they flow and stay, or they take and go, whatever it is. And if you've been marked for this, you'll know. You won't have to chase it. Spirit will send the ones who are ready to sit at your table. And one thing about my table, if you come to me ready to eat, ready to heal, ready to take part in what I got going on, and to heal you, I'm going to always feed you with truth, because that's the work. Nothing else. Nothing else is the work, y'all. So, that's how I gain my students. I am a student as well. Don't ever think that I am never wanting to attach. I have a couple of ladies that I flow with in my life. I don't tell you guys who teaches me. Why would I do that? Why would I do that, y'all? I just want y'all to know, okay? That is my story on how I know that I was a healer, a teacher. I had a calling on my life. I thought it was going to be in church. Well, I knew that wasn't. I don't know. I knew the church was too boxed in for me, and it ended up being Hoodoo. And again, the healer of women, young and old, that is what it has came to be, okay? So thank you guys for allowing me to give y'all that of Lady V. I really appreciate it. And I will see y'all in the next one. Until then, I want y'all to always stay rooted, stay teachable, and keep your spirit open. Keep it open, because the teacher and the student are already on their way to meet you.